My name is Megan Maynard, and I'm an account manager here at Marquee 360, and we thank you for joining us today. You'll also be hearing from Mia, our solutions architect extraordinaire, and Aaron Boyle, our marketing manager. So our agenda today will be a quick overview of Marquee 360, how we can provide a one connected solution to you. Then Mia will go over project intake and the demo. And then lastly, we'll have Q&A. And we love an interactive audience, so please ask questions along the way. As Aaron said, we will be recording this, so I'll be sending it out after. And if you want to revisit or forward to others. So a little bit about us. Marquee 360 is a Microsoft Gold partner for project and portfolio management. And actually, we've been a finalist for Partner of the Year in these categories over the past couple of years. We have a global footprint with locations in US, Canada, and Europe. And our company was founded by former Microsoft employees. So our team has 20 plus years in the industry. Therefore, we bring best practices to every situation, and we work side by side with the Microsoft's technology team during their development, so our solutions are kept up to date. Our core focus mission is on innovation, and actually any other areas or gaps that Microsoft might not be covering in their Power Platform or Power Automate. So we take it to the next level and we fine tune it. Our main focus is our customer relationships, of course, and their customer success. So we have a dedicated team assigned to each customer, making us available 24/7 to solve any issues and walk your team through the whole life cycle. And then lastly, we act as your trusted advisor. So we're here to support our customers from start to finish. And we want to make sure your team see the value on what we do. So we focus on change management and user adoption, so you feel confident about the values that Marquee 360 gives you in a return on your investment. So I'm going to put my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out. I'll be sending the recording, and thanks for joining again. And with that, I'll hand it off to Erin Boyle for her introduction.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm sure you've probably seen my email come through my name if you're here. Thanks for joining us. I just wanted to give a quick overview about our solutions. I know Megan touched on that we do work on the Microsoft 365 platform. So what that means is we use all of those Microsoft technologies to bring you what we call the one connected experience. So it manages your entire project life cycle from start to finish, and you're not bouncing around from one platform to the next. It's all together in one place. And how we do that is we work with Microsoft Project to start. So any of your task management schedules, that's where those are hosted. And then we use Power Apps to extend the capabilities of Project right out of the box. So some demand scoring, timesheets, some of those things that have to be configured if you want them that don't come right out of the box. So we use Power Apps for that. And then we bring it all together in teams for collaboration. So your document sharing, portfolio status, everything that you would see in Microsoft Project, you can also see in Teams with our solution. And any updates you make will also reciprocate. And then we use Power Automate. So any workflows, automations in the background, approvals, those are done with Power Automate. And then we do use Power BI for our reporting and dashboards, interactive. And then if you're familiar with Power BI, you can export those. You can change them pretty quickly. And also with this being built on the Power Platform, we do like to take those apps and break them up. So if you don't need our whole solution, you can break them down and just say you need help with project intake, which we're going to talk about today. We have our intake apps totally separate from all the other features so that you're not paying for this whole solution that you're not using. You can break it down and get exactly what your team needs. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Mia.
Thanks, Erin. Thanks, Megan. So I'll be doing the demo today. And before we jump in, I just have a couple of highlights about what we're going to see. What we're going to focus on, just like Erin said, is the intake process. Our application, PPM 360, is a pre-configured solution that is customizable. And it is modular, like Erin said, so you can use parts at a time. The part that we're going to focus on today is the intake portion. And the intake portion is really special. In talking with our customers, we've seen a lot of people that are handling intake in different ways. Maybe there are a series of Excel spreadsheets or worksheets. Could be that things are verbal and then somebody decides to create a project. What we offer with our intake app is one central location where all of the ideas for new projects can be entered in and viewed. It's really quick and easy to view the status of those and to see where things are in real time. So we'll get to see that. We're also going to look at the automation aspect of it. With the automation that we include, not only can you automate approvals and notifications, but we also automate the creation of projects and also the creation of teams that are based on those projects. There are templates that are involved also. So if you have different types of projects, maybe some projects have a specific workflow or a specific schedule template. Those can be incorporated into the intake process as well. And then we'll also get to see scoring, different ways to prioritize those requests. That's another thing that we see from customers a lot is that there might be a lot of requests, but then, certain requests might get delayed or maybe put on hold for a little bit, but then we need to remember to come back to those and prioritize which ones we should work on and when. So our solution includes a scoring aspect as well. And with that, we'll go ahead and we'll start the demo. As Erin and Megan both mentioned, please feel free to ask questions in the chat. We are very happy to have an interactive experience today and talk through whatever questions you have. So on my screen right now is actually PPM 360. That's Marquee 360's pre-configured solution for Project for the Web. In PPM 360, like Erin said, it's meant to add on to what you get for Project for the Web. Project for the Web is very intuitive and easy to adopt and easy to use. We build our solution with those same tenets in mind. So what we're going to look at in any part of the solution that we build for you, it should be something that is intuitive, really easy to get used to, and really easy to see what you need. PPM 360 is the name of our full solution, right? So if we look at the menu over here on the
Hey,
left
Mia.
side. Uh-huh.
I think we lost you for a minute.
Uh-oh. So am I back?
A little better.
Okay.
I can actually hear fine.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, very well too.
Keep going.
All right, that's good news for the recording too. Let me know if anything does happen and I break up, and I'll be happy to go back. I was just showing the menu over here on the left, and this is what we could use to navigate to different parts of the PPM 360 overall solution. So we've got requests, which is what we're going to focus on today here. Projects, once those are created, are visible through here, portfolios and programs. There's resource management included in our application. And then, of course, reporting is there to tie everything together. So that one connected experience that Erin showed in a couple slides ago, all of that is coming together in here, and it's really easy to access anything you need from this central location. But I guess let's get on with the main topic for today, which is going to be the intake solution. From the main app, PPM 360, I'm going to click on Project Requests, and that will open up the intake app for us. We no longer need this side menu, so I'm going to go ahead and collapse that. And when we look at Intake 360, our intake app, we'll see that there's this landing page, and the landing page varies a little bit based on your permission level. So I'm an admin in the system, so we can see I have this admin section here. At the very end, I'll show you what that admin section does. And then here we've got a link over to the projects. There's also a place to view and create requests. So I'm going to click on View Requests. And what we'll get to see here is our gallery. The gallery is where we can look at the requests that have been submitted so far. So when we look at these, there is this banner at the top that has a couple of buttons that we can use. The admin area is accessible through here, so we'll look at that later on. We can create a new request. We can refresh this list if we need to, and there's also a search. Right now, looking at this list, you can see as I scroll down, there are a fair amount of items on this list. And imagine as time goes on, if you don't regularly clean up this list, you could have quite a bit of items on here. So what we've built in here is a search feature. And when you click on search, you can see the total number of items and then the project name. All right, Jose, if that changes for you, please feel free to let us know. Here with the search, it's really easy to interact with. A lot of times with project names and request names, because they're free-form text, it's hard to know the exact project name. So what was really helpful here is that as long as you know part of the project name, so let's say I have a project out there that I know, or a request out there that I know has the word standard in it, or maybe I suspect it has that word in it. As long as I can type in part of that word, I'll start to see the matching results. That's so much easier than having to know an exact request name and type that in here. So we can see now with just part of the word standard, we're down to 5 results. And then here, the more data I know to narrow down the search, the better off we'll be. So if I'm looking for a request that I started, but maybe never completely finished, I can add myself as the requester here and as the status as submitted. And now I can see that request. If this were a scenario where I needed to come and finish this request or make sure that maybe I added in the right information, I can open that request from this gallery, from that search page, and start to see what I've entered in here. All right. And then if I go back, the search results are still showing here. But once we click search again, we can always reset this and see our full list again. And then, of course, when we're done, we can hide the search. With the items that we're viewing here, it is nice to be able to see the name, right? We can see the status. So this Intake 360 implementation project was submitted, was approved, and the project was created. There's also a link over to the project here, so I can open that right away. If I needed to see any more information, there is this option where you can click on the name of the request and see some of the fields that were collected for this request. So it's a nice way to be able to see some of the high-level data. So that's a lot of what we can do in the gallery to look through some of the requests that have already been entered in. But the next thing I want to look at is how we would create a request from the very beginning. So if we have a great idea for a new project, we would log into this project intake portal and come over to where it says new. And that'll open up our new request form. The status of any form we open is going to show at the top. So this one is brand new. We can see that at the top. And then we've got these different pages. So there's a request information page, which is where we are now. Project details tab, scoring and attachment. We can click on these pages to navigate through them. And there's also a set of arrows that display at the bottom so we can move from page to page. What we'll do is start to look at the different fields here. We won't go into a lot of detail with the specific fields because, as I said earlier, this is configurable, right? So we can add in whatever fields you need and whatever drop-down values go along with them. The main thing that we try to keep in mind here is first, best practices as usual, but also just making sure that all of the information that the approver needs in order to decide if this should become a project or not, we want to make sure that we provide a place for that to be entered in. The other thing is we need to make sure that the fields that display here, you can see that some of them are required, some are not. We want to make sure that we're not providing any obstacles here for filling out this form. So we'll be careful about what we make required and what not. The goal here is to make it easy for the requester to fill in everything that an approver would need to make an informed decision. So looking here, requested by and request date are auto-filled. It recognizes that it's me logging in and puts my name here. The project name, there is a best practice to avoid special characters here. So that kind of guidance and helper text is right here. This is a Canvas app, a Canvas Power App. The guidance text here can be either added into the cell so that you see it immediately, or it can be a little information button or link even to another page with more information. For now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and enter in a project name. We're in the request area, but once this request gets approved, the request name will become the project name. So we'll name this Intake 360 webinar. You'll see that there are different field types, right? Any field type that you want can be supported here. So we've got a couple of drop downs. Remember, these values that are displaying here can all be based on what you need. In this slide that I was sharing earlier, we talked about a couple of things, right? Having a convenient location for all the requests to be located. We saw that. We also talked about having the ability to support different request types. So in the request type field, in this dropdown, we'll see there are multiple different request types. Now, it could be that you don't have this many, or maybe you just have, one or two, but each one of these request types that are listed here, they all have something unique about them. So some of them have a schedule template that's going to start the PM off with tasks that are commonly used, maybe for an individual project. Marketing campaign, for example, doesn't need a full project behind it. So it'll automatically, once it's approved, create a team in Microsoft Teams so we can get started with the collaboration aspect of things. IT project will create a project online project. You can see that we can sync with Azure Dev Ops. We've got some project for the web projects in here too. So the ability to select a project type at this early stage can be really helpful. And it could be that this is determined based on a department or a business unit or information like that too. These fields could be conditional. And when we talk about the field types, we saw several drop downs, some that are text fields. There are also fields where you can identify a person. So we've worked through the request information page. Next, we'll move on to project details, and we'll get more information like our proposed go live date. It might be hard to know the exact date at this early stage, but this could be helpful when making the decision about if we should create a project based on this request, and if so, when. So being able to identify the benefits, the cost benefits, but also an explanation of the benefits can be helpful. And then the proposed start and end can help with our project planning. Maybe this is something that we would want to add to the pipeline and then come back to later on. So we can start to make all those decisions based on the information we're collecting here. The next tab is related to scoring. Scoring is really helpful because this provides us a way to kind of measure these different requests with one specific set of criteria, and then measure, using that score, which ones are going to be the most advantageous for us as a business. So what we have here are a list of business drivers. So expanding into new markets and segments, for example. What we have here for the requester is the option to go ahead and select a rating for that business driver. And you'll see that these business ratings are pretty descriptive, right? So this makes it easier for the requester to put in some accurate information. If we have something like high, medium, low when it comes to improve employee satisfaction, high, medium, low could mean something completely different for the requester than it does for the approver, right? Or the reviewer. So having this type of quantifiable answer set is really helpful. And you can see here that we've, in this demo environment, simply shown a numerical value and then added these together. These are often for our customers a weighted average if one or more of these is more important than another item on the list, or it could just simply be an average. But either way, the priority score will get calculated and is visible here, and that can be used to compare these. And then on our last page, we've got an attachment section. A lot of times our customers will have, a set of documents or maybe one specific document that they want to be uploaded with each request. Sometimes other customers will have it so that they don't need an attachment, but if there is anything from maybe a similar project that was already completed or something that would be helpful, it is nice to be able to add this attachment here. When we've completed all of these fields, then we can go ahead and submit. Before we do that, I just want to point out that there is a draft option as well. Saving this as a draft is a really nice option because sometimes when you're working on a request, you might realize that you're running late for a meeting. You might get a phone call or an IM that you need to answer. So you can save this as a draft and then come back to it later on. And for today, just in the interest of time, we're going to go ahead and submit this. There's a nice visual confirmation on the screen that this was submitted. We can also see here in Intake 360 webinar that this is submitted. And the next thing that comes into play here is the automation. So Erin mentioned in her one connected experience slide that there is some automation involved here. Typically what we'll do is set up some notifications for the requester, but also for the approver, letting them know that there is something here for them to review. As we look at the approval portion, we'll be able to see that the approval requests are sent in two different ways. They're sent through Microsoft Teams, and they're also sent through Outlook, those two places where we tend to spend a lot of time. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at both of those requests for approval and just see what that looks like. The requests are going to come through in Teams and Outlook, but even though they come to those two places, you can choose which one you act on. You don't need to approve it in both places. So what's happening now that we've submitted is that it's starting that workflow. So we'll have those requests come through any moment now. For now, as we're looking at this, we can see more details here. If we've submitted something and we're anxious to see how it's doing, we can always refresh here to see the most recent status. I'm going to show you my Teams environment now. And under activity, we'll see that there is a request here waiting for me. So this is going to have it'll have the options, approve or reject. A lot of times we add another option like request more information, and then comments can also be added in here. Those comments get sent back to the requester once we approve or reject. And then the similar version of that is also in Microsoft Outlook. So if we look at my Outlook inbox here, we'll see that I have that same request for approval. There's a link back to the request. I can approve or reject or, request more information. If I approve, I'll enter in a comment and then submit that. What happens here is really nice. It changes the format of the email. So I know that this has been acted on already, and I know I don't need to still go ahead and approve it. What'll happen next is that the workflow is going to continue running. We'll start to see here that the project is getting created. We see that it's approved. What's also happening as part of our automation is that a team is getting created in Microsoft Teams. So I'll be added to that team. And then just like that, we're ready to start working on this project. So this workflow is still running. We'll be able to see this here in a moment. Since we are running toward the end of our time, there is one kind of cool feature I wanted to show for the administrators, and that's the look and feel. What we typically do is try to customize this for each of our customers, right? Everybody's got their logos and their company colors that they want to have incorporated. So there's a quick and easy way to do that here. In the admin area, you can see right now we're in this dark theme. But if we wanted to change our theme or identify specific colors based on your business and your approved colors, those could be added in here. And it gives you the chance to personalize this app and see it in a way that is in line with how you view other items. This Intake 360 webinar request just completed the approval process, and now we've got a link here to the project. I'll click on that really quickly just so that we can see that a project was created. And now if I'm the project manager of that one, I can go ahead and start working on this project. We've got a lot of other webinars that focus more on the project aspect of things or the resource management or reporting aspect of things. So please feel free to view those or reach out if you'd like a demo so that you can see more of our PPM 360 solution. We have a few minutes left, so please ask questions if you have any.
Anybody? Also, like me said,
So how
we're
this-
modular,
how
so
is
this is, oh, go ahead.
Okay. How is this so different from Monday.com?
So there are a lot of differences. We could do more of a demo to show you the project portion of things and talk about what those differences look like and do more of a comparison if you'd like.
I can easily reach out and set that up for you so we can show you. Not a problem.
Okay. Okay.
And also, Belinda and everyone else, this is only one aspect of our out-of-the-box experience. We're a modular solution, so you may not need everything. You may only need intake, for an example, which Mia so greatly showed today. But I'll be sending out our YouTube address as well, and we post all of our webinars there. So you can take a peek. But again, anybody that wants to set up their own demo designed around their wish list or any gaps that you might be feeling, please contact me. And again, I'll be sending out the recording immediately.
Thanks, everybody. If you
Thanks,
do have other
everybody.
questions, feel free to reach out. Our emails are down there.
Yep.
Oh,
Happy
thank you.
fall.
I think maybe when we watch the video too there, like the one you guys will send, we might have more concerns and questions that we clarify our doubt and give us the need to start using this, because like from the demo, I really love it. It's really like kind of customized and
Awesome.
it will be a good tool for our project. But
Sure.
like I said,
Excellent.
maybe I will have more clarity if I watch the demo and move from there.
Okay.
Sounds good.
It is kind of a lot
Is
to
it
take in all at once
is it
too,
another
so we
app?
totally understand.
Is it another app under Microsoft?
Can you
Can you
repeat that
repeat that?
question?
Is this part of Microsoft or where where you say you're gonna send you guys this YouTube on how to get to you guys? So okay, maybe that already answered my question.
Yes,
So
we are a Microsoft partner. We're one of their preferred partners. So we help fill in the gaps of anything that they provide within, their Microsoft 365 suite. So I think you would absolutely find some value in seeing how we do that.